Hi, I'm Tommy, and I'm a professional paleontologist. I'm also a philosopher and disability rights activist. Unlike most evolutionary biologists, though, I've had a lifelong obsession with the paranormal and the occult. Most of my videos concern the philosophy of magic and polytheism, or the politics of disability. Sometimes I talk about my actual research, but as that's my day job, I'm much more likely to just stick around and watch DuckTales. If you want to join me on my journey, friend, don't forget to like and subscribe, and welcome to Creepy Puppets Presents. Hey folks, I intended to have this up during Shark Week, but I had some technical difficulties, so it'll probably be up Monday. But, at least Nat Geo and Disney XD are still running shark stuff, so it's not completely out of the realm of where I wanted it to be. So I thought I'd briefly talk about why paleontologists, especially paleontologists who take a big data approach like I do in my research, are so interested in sharks and love them so much, especially, some of these big charismatic sharks like Megalodon. So to do the kind of thing I do, you need things that fossilize well. So you have lots of intact specimens from a long range of time, and ideally representing taxa that are at least in some form still alive today. That's why sharks are great. They've been around forever. They shed their teeth. Those teeth fossilize incredibly well. And this allows us to develop statistically robust studies of these shark species and use them as paleontological indicators. I thought I'd take a couple of seminal papers in the paleontology of sharks to just give you some examples. So this is a famous one where we learn something about southern seas, warm, shallow seas, and the communities based on the taxa that lived there. One of the taxa, by the way, that lived in this area, you can see, is Cretoxyrhina Megalodon. Now there is some controversy over what genus Megalodon best fits in, but it is most definitely part of the lamniforms, and it was definitely a shark that shed lots of teeth, for which we have lots of fossils. We have a Megalodon fossil tooth over in Steppes, but this is taking a whole community of shark teeth and trying to reconstruct the ecology of that environment based just on that data. Now, if you're unfamiliar, part of the reason Megalodon is so interesting, aside from being charismatic megafauna, is that it was produced as a consequence of incredibly rare environmental conditions. Basically, during the Miocene period, there was a time of warming. That warming led to an incredible production of plankton in the ocean, which caused a cascading effect up the trophic levels. So you ended up with these oceans being full of food, and those supercharging whales, big baleen whales that could eat a lot of it. So during this period, you had more whales in the ocean than any time in history. And that led to the rise of super predators that could take effective use of that could effectively eat these whales. So you had the two largest predators that ever lived on Earth existing at the same time. You had the Megalodon, obviously, and you also had the largest carnivorous whale that ever existed, Leviathan melvillei, Melville's Leviathan, a larger carnivorous sperm whale. I mean, the sperm whale is the largest carnivore alive today. And the incredibly interesting features that led to the development of these large ocean-going superpredators is also why we know, unfortunately, that Megalodon is extinct. There is just not enough whale meat in the ocean today to feed a breeding population of Megalodon. But that's how interesting Megalodon is. It's entirely bizarre anatomy. Usually, animals that big are filter feeders, is tied to these unique environmental conditions, and the absence of those environmental conditions meant it could no longer sustain itself. I want to briefly talk about another paper, switching from Megalodon to the king of the Mesozoic seas, the Cretoxyrhina, better known as the Ginsu shark. This was the largest of the predatory sharks that we know about from the Mesozoic period. This thing was known to have nibbled on dinosaurs. It was known to have eaten plesiosaurs. Um, and it was, this is from the vertebrae of a mosasaur, which indicates that it was also attacked by a shark, by a Ginsu shark. Um, and so we have some ecological evidence to reconstruct this environment, and we can use this information to know that this was a very, very important generalized superpredator of these seas. It's larger than the two largest predatory sharks today, which are the Greenland and the great white. Or, well, there's some disagreement about the size. It was equal to, if not bigger than, those two groups. I hope to have the opportunity to integrate shark research, statistical analysis of shark teeth fossils, into my research at a future point. But for right now, I am going to continue to work on my microbe research. And next week, I'm headed to the beach where hopefully I can experience the water without experiencing the sharks simultaneously. Have a fun and safe summer at the beach, folks. Take care.